Good evening. I would like to welcome you to the April 23rd, 2024 meeting of the City Planning Commission. Before we begin, I will outline the procedure that will follow for our public hearing. As each agenda item is called, the applicant or his or her representative and persons for the request will be allowed to speak. Then persons against the request will be allowed to speak. If there is opposition to the request, the applicant will be allowed to make a short rebuttal. All persons wishing to speak need to come to the microphone at the front of the room. Please state your name and address for the record. All statements made should be relevant to the agenda item and be limited to 3 minutes. There are several people in favor or opposed to the request. We encourage you to allow 1 or 2 people to act as spokesperson for the group. If you like, a spokesperson for the group may request that the group stand to be recognized. While public discourse is very important to the Commission, we have to maintain order in the meeting so that all persons may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms shall remove from this meeting any person while addressing the Commission or while attending the Commission meeting that makes personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous, or makes unauthorized remarks from the audience. The Commission members have reviewed each of these items in a previous work session. The recommendations we make tonight to the City Council will be based on the work session and the information provided by staff, as well as any additional information presented tonight. After completing the hearing on each item, the Commission will consider action, and the action taken tonight on all items, excluding plats, will be in the form of a recommendation to the City Council. The City Council will also conduct a hearing on all items, excluding plats. The Riverway Land Use and Zone Change Requests, Agenda Item 5, and the Riverway Overlay Ordinance, Agenda Item 14, will be held on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 in the Bosque Theater of the Waco Convention Center at 100 Washington Avenue. All other remaining cases will be held on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024 in the Bosque Theater of the Waco Convention Center at 100 Washington Avenue. The record and recommendation of the Planning Commission and new testimony will be considered by the Council at those times. The first item on our agenda tonight is approval of the minutes of our March 26, 2024 work session and business meetings. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, they stand approved as written. First item on our agenda tonight is in subdivisions, item 1. City staff, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, we have 4 plat items on the agenda tonight, each of them being very unique. So we are going to be acting on all these as individual motions. The first item, number 1, is preliminary plat approval of Edgewood subdivision. Planning Services staff does recommend approval of the preliminary plat of the Edgewood subdivision with conditions.
Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on this item? Please just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, hi Commissioners, thanks for having me. My name is Josh Welch. My address is 2002 Rustic Manor in Temple, Texas, right down the road. Thanks for having me. I've been working on the project here for, pretty good last several months. And of course, y'all are familiar with the development agreement that's gone through with council for the project. And so we've basically put a preliminary plat together here for y'all's consideration tonight. That's in accordance with that development agreement that's gone through the City Council. We've gone through several meetings with staff and talked about several of the conditions that are involved here, and we're in favor of moving this forward, and would appreciate y'all's consideration in doing so, and be happy to answer any questions y'all may have for me.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone here that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff finding.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Vickers. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram? Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Yes.
Salami?
Yes.
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 Cole?
For item 2 of subdivisions, final plat of the Grand Meadows addition. City staff, what's your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, the second item is final plat of the Grand Meadows at Lorena Phase 1, located in the ETJ. Planning Services recommends approval of this request with conditions.
Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve with conditions per city staff recommendation. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Vickers, a second by Mr. Embry.
Ingram.
We have Mr. Ingram. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
For item number 3, final plat of the Murray Edition, what is city staff recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this request is composed of 2 separate requests. The final plat of Murray Edition, lots 3 through 5, Block 1, also located in the ETJ. And the request also includes a variance request to the requirement for City of Waco water extension per the Waco subdivision ordinance for the proposed subdivision plat. City staff recommends approval with conditions of the subdivision variance. And then if so approved, then we would also recommend approval of the final plat. And we would need 2 separate motions on that, please.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak?
My name is Richard Murray. I live at 480 West Old Axtell Road. This is mine, my wife's property. We bought over 30 years ago. And we have been dividing it up a little bit to provide for some retirement income. And I'm asking for a variance from the requirement to have city water because it is about 2.5 miles away. And it just wouldn't be feasible for me to extend that for 2 additional lots. So I would request the variance, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone here in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
As to the subdivision variance, I move that we approve with conditions in accordance with the city staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lane, a second by Mr. Smith. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Cole?
We'll now entertain a motion on the final plat.
Again, I move to approve in accordance with the city staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lane, second by Mr. Smith. Please poll the commission.
Yes.
Ingram? Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
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 Yes. For item number 4, final plat of the My Lane Edition 2, what is city staff's finding?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I would like to first note that the agenda does show a variance request as part of this item. However, that variance request is not going to move forward, so we will only be acting on the final plat tonight. The request is for final plat of the My Lane Edition 2, a replat of Lot 1, Block 1, Lots 1 through 3, Block 1, My Lane Edition, also located, actually it's both in the ETJ and within the city of Waco. Planning Services recommends approval with conditions of the final plat.
Thank you. Is the representative or applicant here to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move that we approve with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Vickers. Please poll the commission.
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Cole?
We will now take agenda item 14, which is the ordinance amendment pertaining to the Riverway Overlay District. City staff, what is y'all's recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, what we are, the application tonight is to consider the Riverway Overlay District. This would be an ordinance that is amending the zoning ordinance to create the new Riverway Overlay District. Some of the highlights within the ordinance itself is, number one, it adopts the overlay boundary, which everybody could see in the solid yellow, minus the hatched in the middle of that there. It also adopts the Riverway Design Book. All development within the overlay shall comply with the Riverway Design Book. It also designates 3 different districts within the area. The Riverway Mixed Use Commercial District, which has a base zoning of C2, which will be acted on later tonight. Riverway Moderate Density Residential District, which will require a base zoning of R3B, which will be acted on later tonight. And then the Riverway Residential District with the base zoning of R1B. The ordinance also outlines prohibited uses within each of these districts that would normally be allowed under our normal zoning. And it also establishes Architectural Control Committee. So what you have tonight, the property, just in general, is located approximately 3 miles north of the downtown, City of Waco downtown, at the corner of North Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Lakeshore Drive. The design book, which is be adopted as part of the ordinance, provides objectives, outlines specific design criteria for the development within the zone, and the area will be developed within different segments or pods, if you would call them. The light yellow is single-family, low-density residential, basically. The dark red is commercial. The darker orange is more of a higher density in there, and then a moderate density as well. And then the green is open space. So Planning Services does recommend approve the ordinance creating the Riverway Overlay District and then all company regulating sections of the overlay district.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative present to speak on behalf of this item?
Senior Vice President, Caldwell Company. We've been working on this now for approximately 2 years with the city. Really excited about it, and just here to answer any questions you might have tonight.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present that would like to speak on behalf of this item?
It's 323 North 7th. I'm a property owner in East Waco and downtown Waco, and I think the approval of this development is key to revitalization of downtown and the furtherance of economic development. And I appreciate your support for this motion. Thank you.
Is there anyone else present that would like to speak on behalf of this item?
Good evening. My name is Chris McGowan. I live at 2501 Briarcliff here in beautiful Waco, Texas. I want to echo Mr. Davis's sentiment. This is a great project, meets economic development needs. It's a long-term project, but it does go to meeting the immediate 6,000 homes we're short of in this community. So we think it's a great project. I'm here on behalf of a neighboring property owner that I represent, Rick Sheldon Real Estate. We appreciate y'all.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone present that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Smith. Please poll the commission.
Embry? Ingram? Lane?
Yes.
Lozano? Salome?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We will now move to zoning applications, item number 5, Z-24-17. What is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, we have before you tonight a public hearing, application filed by John Monmeyer of Walker Partners on behalf of CC Waco 521 Land Holdings LP, property owner, request to change the land use designation and rezone portions of the property known as 1109 East Lakeshore Drive, generally located southeast of the Martin Luther King Jr. and East Lakeshore Drive intersection, and described in a deed to CC Waco 521 Land Holdings LP, a Texas limited partnership, recorded under McLennan County Clerk's document 2022-027-229 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, all being located in the John Tucker Survey, Abstract 41, in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, and the Calvin B. Emmons Survey, Abstract 337, in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, as follows. There's four parts to this request. The first one is a land use change from suburban residential to mixed-use flex, and then rezone that property from R1B to C2, a tract being 18.465 acres. Part 2, land use change from suburban residential to medium-density residential office flex, and rezone that property from R1B to R3B, a tract being 10.874 acres. Part 3, land use change from suburban residential and mixed-use flex to mixed-use flex, and rezone that property from R1B and C3 to C2, a tract being 40.195 acres. And Part 4, land use change from suburban residential and mixed-use flex to medium-density residential office flex, and rezone from R1B to R3B, a tract being 18.827 acres. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the land use plan from suburban residential and mixed-use flex to mixed-use flex and medium-density residential office flex based on the following findings. 1, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for zoning districts allowed in the proposed mixed-use flex and medium-density residential office flex land use designation. Number 2, mixed-use flex and medium-density residential office flex designations are consistent with the surrounding land uses. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R1B and C3 to C2 and R3B based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan as revised. The public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the C2 and R3B zoning districts. 3, the property meets all the area and width requirements for the C2 and R3B zoning districts. 4, the property is located at the intersection and along major arterial roads, Lake Shore Drive and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And 5, the combination of the proposed R3B and C2 zoning with the Riverway Overlay District provides compatible development standards for the surrounding area and this important gateway into Waco. We did mail out 12 notices, and we received 1 returned in support.
Thank you. Because this is pertaining to the same piece of property, we will assume that the 3 speakers on behalf of this item are still in favor of it. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move to recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Ingram. Please poll the commission.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. For item Z-24-18, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, we have an application filed by David Mercer of Merrick General Contracting LTD on behalf of Sherwin Owsley, property owner, to rezone 1.0283 acres described as Lot 2, Block 1, James R. Kersey Edition, Lots 1 through 2, Block 1, known as 3212 South 4th Street. The request is to rezone from R1B to PUD. We did mail 30 notices, and we received 1 comment in return. Planning Services does recommend approval of this request to change the zoning from R1B to PUD based on the following findings and subject to the following conditions. The findings: number 1, the proposed PUD is consistent with the land use component of the comprehensive plan, the purposes of Chapter 28 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, and the Plan Unit Development Regulations. Number 2, the proposed PUD is in keeping with the purpose and intent of the PUD ordinance by providing a high level of urban amenities and design standards while allowing flexibility in the use and development of the land. We recommend the following conditions. Number one, the final PUD must meet all development standards consistent with the concept PUD plan and the site requirements of the Plan Review Committee, including but not limited to the following: site grading and drainage, floodplain, engineering design for water and sewer, signage regulations, parking, site coverage, access and circulation, landscaping, refuse location, and access and fire protection location and access. And number two, the property shall be platted in accordance with the subdivision ordinance prior to the issuance of building permits.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Tyler Good. Our address is 1927 Columbus Avenue, Waco, Texas. I'm here on behalf representing the owner for 3212 South 4th Street, and I'm here to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Perfect, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item?
I'm Nancy Savarine. I live at 4612 Chestnut Meadows Bend in Georgetown, Texas. I own the property at 316 Garden Drive, and I'm just concerned about what this would do to my property value and drainage.
Thank you. City staff, do you have any comments on either of those two items?
Regarding property values, these will be single-family homes, which is what the land is zoned for. 6 single-family homes on this property, meeting the density requirements as if it were platted as additional. So during an appraisal, that would be considered as far as what is adjacent to this property and then what is inside the property. So it should not affect that.
And drainage will be addressed during the permitting phase?
Correct. And platting.
Great, thank you. Did that answer your question? Yes. Okay. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve per city staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vickers and a second by Mr. Lane. Please poll the commission.
Embry? Yes. Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
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 Cole?
Yes. For item Z-24-19, what is the city staff's recommendation?
The commission, we have an application filed by Jocelyn Romero of Three Sisters Midwifery on behalf of Rhiannon Fountain, current property owner, to rezone 0.261 acres described as lots 4 and 5A, block 121, J.H. Barnard subdivision, known as 522 Herring Avenue. The rezoning request is to go from R3E to O1. We did mail out 40 adjacent property owner notices, and we received 0 in return. City planning staff does recommend approval of the request to change the zoning from R3E to O1 based on the following findings. Number one, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the property meets all of the area and width requirements for the O1 zoning district. 3, the existing public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the O1 zoning district. And number 4, there is existing O1 zoning immediately across of Herring Avenue that was approved for rezone in 2016.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Please just state your name and address for the record.
Jocelyn Romero, address is 6431 Golson Road, Waco, Texas.
And are you here in support of this item? Yes. Awesome. Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else present that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to recommend approval based on staff findings.
Motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Ingram. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. For item Z-24-21, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the request is from Amir Namak Farouche, Southtown Engineering and Consulting LLC, on behalf of 35-06 LLC, current property owner. The request is to rezone 11.879 acre tract of land situated in the Thomas Jefferson Chambers Survey, abstract number 7 of McLennan County, Texas, and being all of a called 11.879 acre tract of land described as tract 2, and an instrument to 35-06 LLC recorded in document number 2013039914, official public records of McLennan County, Texas, known as 3200 South New Road. The request is to rezone the property from R3B to R3C. We did mail out 48 property notices in this case, and we received 0 in return. Planning Services recommends approval of this request to change the zoning from R3B to R3C based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. Number 2, the proposed R3C zoning is consistent with the Waco Strategic Housing Plan supply strategy. 3, by allowing for higher density housing in accessible and high opportunity areas. Number 3, the property meets all of the area and width requirements for the R3C zoning district. And 4, the existing public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in the R3C zoning district.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Amir Namak Farouche. Laura, you did a great job saying my name. I am the applicant. I'm a licensed civil engineer that practices in Texas. I reside in San Antonio, Texas. I am representing the current landowner and the developer to rezone this tract, 11.88 acres, from a R-3B to an R-3C for a future 240-unit multifamily development. We've have been in constant communication with city staff. We've met with the adjacent property owners that are all within 200 feet of this tract, and we've received favorable outcomes with each of those groups, and we're just here to answer any questions. We do have the developer here in the audience as well as the architect, and again, I'm the civil engineer and can answer any questions.
Can you tell us a little bit about any communications y'all have had with, kind of the school officials across the street there, or also the folks with the church next door?
Absolutely. So, one, we had a pre-development meeting with city staff back in March, and then we've been in constant communication or have reached out to University High School. They did communicate to us that they weren't in any opposition with the development. We also met with the HOA on April 7th or 15th. And then we met with the adjacent church owner on the 18th as well to discuss the development. They did raise concerns with regards to traffic, which we were able to discuss and honestly mitigate for during the development process. But outside of that, there was no concerns.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone present that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move that we recommend approval based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Vickers. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram? Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Cole?
For item Z-24-22, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the request is from Kayla Williams, CP&Y Inc., DBA STV Infrastructure, on behalf of PMBL Investments LP, property owner. Approval of a final PUD plan for a planned unit development known as 5317 Spiegelville Road site development being 2.761 acres, described as Lot 2, Block 5 of the final plat, Lots 2 and 3, Block 5, Village at Kings Row, Addition Part 2, a planned unit development to the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas. According to the plat recorded under Clerk's File Number 2014-03 0669 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, known as 5317 Spiegelville Road. We did mail out 32 notices and we received 0 in return. Planning Services recommends approval of the final PUD based on the following findings and conditions. Number 1 of the findings, the final PUD plan is consistent with the approved concept PUD plan, conditions of the approved concept PUD plan, and the requirements of the PUD ordinance. Number 2, the circulation plan, public facilities and services plan, preliminary architectural plan, and site development and landscaping plan included in the final PUD plan are adequate. And the following conditions: number 1, at time of development, full building plans must be submitted meeting all City of Waco development requirements, including but not limited to the following: applicable building code, site grading and drainage, parking, signage, college and university neighborhoods district standards, vehicle pedestrian access and circulation, landscaping, refuge location and access, and fire protection location and access. A building permit will not be issued until full compliance with all development standards of the City of Waco and the approved PUD plans.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Hi, I'm Kayla Williams with STV. We're at 200 West Highway 6 in Waco. The developer is also here if y'all have any questions.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Embry, a second by Mr. Ingram. Please poll the commission.
Embry?
Yes.
Ingram?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Lozano?
Yes.
Salome?
Yes.
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 Yes. For item Z-24-23, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the request is from Jennifer Grabs of 5G Services on behalf of David Maxwell, property owner. The request is for a special permit for the sale, rental, parts, repair, and storage of vehicles in an M2 district on property described as Lot G20, E21, Block H, Walton Trail, known as 226 Hillsborough Drive. We mailed out 54 notices and received 0 in return. Planning Services does recommend approval of the special permit subject to the special provisions and conditions and based on the following findings. Number 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, that the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area in which it is located. 3, the proposed use would not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics than any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of a special exception. Number 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use. And then staff recommends provisions and conditions noted under the special provisions and conditions section. I would like to highlight 3 of those. Service and repair of vehicles shall not take place outdoors. All work shall be within an enclosed structure. Vehicles in disrepair shall be stored indoors or within an outdoor screened area. Screening should consist of a solid wood fence or masonry wall at least 6 feet in height, with the finished side facing out from the lot on which such fence or wall is located. And then staff is recommending that the permit shall be valid for a period of 12 months and will expire May 21st, 2025. At that time, it may be renewed before coming before the Planning Commission again.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is there anyone present that would like to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move to approve, subject to the special provisions and conditions based on the city staff findings.
By Mr. Lane, second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Embry.
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Lozano.
Yes.
Salome.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Vickers. Cole.
Yes. Moving to abandonments, item ABD-24-2, what is city staff's recommendation?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I would like to first note that on the agenda, item ABD 24-2 lists 3 tracks to be abandoned. We are only moving forward with track 1 and track 2 this evening. So the request is from Roger Salinas and Obed Felix on behalf of God's Kingdom Church for the abandonment of 2 portions of the Wood Avenue right-of-way located between South 22nd Street and South 23rd Street, being more described as tract 1, 0.275 acres of land in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, being a portion of Wood Avenue, as shown in the P.W. Ezel edition recorded in volume 58, page 621 at the deed records of McLennan County, Texas. And then tract 2, 0.042 acres of land in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, being a portion of Wood Avenue. No dedication on that road being found. We did mail out 14 notices and received 0 in return. Staff does recommend, sorry, it's been a long night. Staff does recommend approval of the abandonment request for tract 1 and tract 2 based on the following findings and conditions. The findings, the existing streets that are proposed to be abandoned currently only serve the development within the private properties. Number 2, the street infrastructure is already in place and once abandoned will be privately maintained. Number 3, utility access for surrounding properties is not adversely impacted by the abandonment of this right-of-way. And 4, there will be no adverse impact to the surrounding street system and the abandonment aligns with the proposed Interstate 35 4C reconstruction project. We do recommend the following conditions. Number 1, that easements shall be retained for any water and sewer lines or lines can be relocated at developer's expense. Number 2, utility easements shall be retained for Atmos Energy or relocated at the developer's expense as noted in their comments. And 3, encore easement for existing pole and lines for street lights and guard lights shall be provided unless the city and customer request them to be removed.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is anyone here to speak in opposition of this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
We recommend approval with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Embry. Please poll the commission.
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Yes.
Lozano.
Yes.
Salome.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Cole.
For item ABD-24-4, what is city staff's recommendation?
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the request is from Trent Weaver on behalf of 5KW LLC for the abandonment of a 0.201 acre tract of land in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, being a part of the Mary Avenue right-of-way located between South 27th Street and South 28th Street, adjacent to 2720 Franklin Avenue, and generally described as 25 feet, located adjacent to Lot 16, Block 63 of the Glenwood addition to the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, as shown on the plat recorded in McLennan County Clerk's document 2010013081 of the official records of McLennan County, Texas. We did mail out 10 notices and received 0 in return. Planning Services recommends approval of the abandonment of this request based on the following findings and conditions. Finding number 1, public use of the right-of-way is not required for the proper flow of traffic or for emergency vehicle access to the area. Number 2, utility access for surrounding properties is not adversely impacted by the abandonment of this right-of-way. 3, there will be no adverse impact to the surrounding street system. The following condition, that easements shall be retained for any water and sewer lines located within the abandonment or lines can be relocated at developer's expense.
Thank you. Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item? Is anyone present would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Move that we recommend approval with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
By Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Vickers. Please poll the commission.
Ingram.
Yes.
Lane. Yes. Lozano.
Yes.
Ramos.
We don't have.
Oops. Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Yes. For item ABD-24-5, what is city staff's recommendation?
Chair, members of the commission, the request is from Vernon Davis on behalf of East Riverside Holdings LLC for the abandonment of two 20-foot alleys and a portion of the Myrtle Street right-of-way located between Bridge Street and Taylor Avenue as recorded on the H&TC Railroad Edition as shown on the plat recorded in volume 186, page 396 of the deed records of McLennan County, Texas, and being more described as Tract 1, 0.053 acres, being part of a 20-foot wide alley located in Block 23 H&TC Railroad Edition. Tract 2, 0.391 acres, being the Myrtle Street right-of-way located in between Blocks 23 and 27 H&TC Railroad Edition. And Tract 3, 0.034 acres, being part of a 20-foot wide alley located in Block 27 H&TC Railroad Edition. We did mail out 11 notices, and we did receive one comment returned in support of this request. Planning Services recommends approval of the abandonment of this request based on the following findings and condition. Finding number 1, public use of the right-of-way is not required for the proper flow of traffic or for emergency vehicle access to the area. Number 2, utility access for surrounding properties is not adversely impacted by the abandonment of this right-of-way. And 3, there will be no adverse impact to the surrounding street system. We're recommending the following conditions. Number 1, easement shall be retained for any water and sewer lines located within the abandonment, or lines can be relocated at developer's expense. Number 2, provide a new survey that removes the portion of the Myrtle Street right-of-way and the half of the alley located adjacent to the property owned by Urban Renewal Agency. Number 3, final verification of gas lines is required prior to acceptance. If gas lines are located within the proposed abandonment, coordination with Atmos Energy shall be required prior to issuance of quitclaim deeds.
Is the applicant or his or her representative here to speak on behalf of this item?
Davis, 323 North 7th. As to condition 1, there are no water or sewer line easements within the area. Matter of fact, we lost 3 water taps during the rebuild of Bridge Street, and we're not compensated for them. We lost 1 electrical meter pole, and that was not replaced. As for the item 2, an agreement and contract was signed with Bowman Engineering for the requested survey adjustment for the Urban Renewal Agency, the subsequent new owner, the city of Waco. And it was reported that Mr. Cogburn, the director of survey for Bowman Engineering, that the field crew should be on site tomorrow to take care of that. And there are no gas lines, and never have been any gas lines on this side of the street. All the gas lines lie on the other side of Bridge and run in front of the even side of the block, not the odd side of the block, and none on Taylor Street. I avail myself to any questions that the commission members may have. Otherwise, we would appreciate your support for this.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this item? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Recommend approval with conditions based on staff findings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Vickers. Please poll the commission.
Yes.
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Lozano,
Yes.
Salome,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Cole.
Seeing that that is the last item of our night, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:45.